So you could just say your name first. I doubt anybody
Alright.
gonna see it, but I'm just gonna use it just in case.
That's cool. How you doing? My name is Jerome Strums. Currently, I'm a cornerback coach at Southern Connecticut State University. A Connecticut native, born and raised. And let's get to it.
So start off with how your high school career went and like your aspirations of wanting to go to college and play football in college.
So high school pretty much kind of started off with me just playing since I was 8 years old. So it turned into just something that became a part of my lifestyle. Like some people just do things because they feel like it's a hobby. I kind of embedded football into who I am and who I became to be to this day. High school was a up and down years for me. My freshman year, I was at a school that didn't allow us to go play for our actual high schools. We didn't have any sports. I went to a magnet school for my freshman year. So I kind of had to play Pop Warner one extra year. Me doing that kind of made me realize like, this is just too easy. I should definitely move up to the next level. So ended up happening where we called ourselves like game changers. So me and a couple of my friends were still at the magnet school. We had a whole little petition with other kids from the district that's in the school from different towns to saying, y'all really want us to stay here? These are our little guidelines that we kind of need so we can still do the best of both worlds. So they end up letting us leave school around 2:30 and go back to our designated towns and play for our high schools. Right out the gate, me going to high school, they kind of was a farm system. I got to go to camp. I was on varsity. I ended up starting varsity about 2 or 3 games in. And then on my third game, I ended up dislocating my hip. So it kind of slowed my process. So that right there, especially with a hip injury, if you ever heard of Bo Jackson, that kind of changes your mindset. So the doctors kind of told my mom that I'll probably never play football again. I got to do X, Y, Z. So, me, my mom, and my dad kind of had a conversation. Me personally, I don't really care too much on what doctors kind of say in that aspect because everybody's different. So I feel like they base it off of just charts and graphs off of one person or 2 people where everybody's body is different. And your beliefs is different. My family was God heavy, and they said he's the one that's going to determine what I do here or there. So I was supposed to be on crutches for 6 months. Me being me, I got off in 4. I tried to come back early for spring ball, retweaked my hip, so that kind of put me out until about the end of August. But my senior year, I was all conference. My senior year, I was all conference, made second team all state. And then that was my high school career on that point. You want me to elaborate? Because I could go to the next phase of things if you got the next.
Nah, so let's go into college. So going into college, did you have professional dreams? Like straight out of high school, did you see yourself playing in the NFL?
So that's a good question. So my thing, I always felt that I was the one for my family. They would always say it. I got older cousins that I looked up to that played the game, but they always said I was better. And I did this, I did that. So that kind of starts to soak into you. I always definitely had league-bound dreams. And that was my goal from 8 years old when I started. I'm going to be in the NFL. I'm going to be like Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders. That was the hot hand at the time, the 3-headed horseman. So I definitely wanted to chase the dream. Going to college, my senior year graduating, I wasn't recruited. I didn't have any offers. I didn't have anybody really pushing me to get to college. So I had one guidance counselor who kind of told me I should probably go to HBCU and just focus on school, but that wasn't just my mental. I wanted to play sports. So what I did was I went to orientation. I brought my film with me, went straight to the coach's office, gave him my tape. So I'm about to leave. He was like, where you going? I said, well, I just wanted to give you my tape. I thought you was going to call me later after you watch. He said, no, we could watch it right now. So that kind of I was a little nervous. I'm not a nervous person, but that kind of made me be like, yeah, your heart beating about to come out your chest. So I'm like, oh, wow, I don't even know what to. So I'm like, all right, cool. We could, voice get all high. I'm like, yeah, I'll go ahead. So we sit down, we looking at it. He was like, oh, this is good, good. Then he was like, what do you want to play, offense or defense? I said, yeah, defense, of course. He said, well, you look like an offensive guy on this tape. I said, I'm a defensive guy.
That's what I do.
Is so, then he told me like, and what kind of made me, I want to say I wasn't doubting myself a little bit, but it definitely made me get my confidence back up when he said that I could have definitely earned a scholarship to play there. There's a couple of kids on the team that made it before me that I probably could have had their scholarship, but it's just I wasn't promoted. They didn't get my information and things like that. So he gave me the preferred walk-on spot. He said, when school starts, you can come. So I get there. First day, I'm like, yo, so when I can start, he said, yeah, you got to do a tryout. So I'm like, again, with the whole, you go with the runaround again. So now I'm like back to the bottom. So every day I went to his office to the point where they just got annoyed with me. So it's like, here, they just threw me the flyer that they said they wasn't going to post for another week, but they gave it to me first. Went to the tryout, made the team as a corner where it was about 200 kids in the gym at the tryout. They sat us down right there and said, you four made it, the rest of y'all can go home. So that was as cutthroat as it gets. But to get back to the whole, so my college career it started off slow, kicked out of practice my first day.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Like coming out of high school, I'm guarding the best kid on the team, the All-American receiver. You run a little drag route, which is like 10 yards you run in, and he catches it. But in high school, you taught to finish the play. So I tackled him. You know what I mean? Head coach come from nowhere, cuss me out, talking about who's this nobody, like why is he da-da-da-da, kick me smooth out of practice. So in my head, I'm like, yo, I made the team and got cut on the first day. Like, am I? So I call my dad, like, yo, dad, I don't think this for me. Like, he kind of kept me believing in myself. So I went back, talked to the coach. They said, no, you good. Just you learn who to tackle, who not to tackle. So that's when I kind of learned that is actually levels to where you at on the team and the roster. But college career was dope. I kind of tell everybody my journey was probably a journey that is not for the weak-hearted. Being a walk-on, you have to earn your stripes every day. So there's no room for error. So you got to go to class because you paying to go to school. You still got to do all the lifts. You still got to do all the meetings. So when the team is doing team stuff, them scholarship guys is doing that, and they not too focused on school and all this other stuff, you got to be able to balance everything because you the one that's there. The school not paying for you. You paying for school. So you got to kind of have that balance. And I think I gained confidence in myself to let my coach know the deal. Like he said, so you coming to this tonight? I'm like, well, y'all giving me scholarship money today? He was like, nah. Well, I got to go to this class, coach. I can't, I got to do this. I got to do that. So it turned into me getting a balance. And then that spring, I switched to safety because I was out here doing safety and corners work. So I was just trying to get on the field and play. So he asked me, I had to make a decision. I made my decision where I said, I'm going to play safety because it was 4 safeties, a freshman like me, and then me. So that put us at 6, 7 at the most, if I remember. And then there were 2 redshirt seniors, redshirt junior, redshirt sophomore, and then the freshman. So I kind of strategically planned out how this is going to work for my next 4 years at the college level. And I don't think people really take time to look into that. Positions and how to play and get in there and where you can get in when you fit in. So that spring, like I was saying, every starter in front of me somehow was just hurt. So I understand you big guys on campus, y'all coming back, y'all trying to have this little time off. So they took it was 15 practices they didn't play not one practice. Me and the other freshman kid, Eric, took every snap from 1s, 2s, 3s, the whole spring. to where, making plays, I'm learning the defense. Couldn't catch worth nothing. You know what I mean? I was always around the ball. I think my best highlight was I pitched off an option from the quarterback to the running back.
Oh yeah.
And that kind of solidified me. So we did my exit meeting. That's my freshman year. He was like, look, son, I would definitely try and put you in the rotation, but you're around the ball, but I need the ball. You dropping it, you got brick hands, you got to do X, Y, Z. So that was cool. You know what I mean? So we did all of that.
So because a lot of people don't know, because obviously in college, for the most part, people recruited people. So how demanding, I would say physically, because you have to prepare yourself too, because you're not there yet, and mentally, right?
Yep.
Just touch on like the aspect of somebody who's not recruited and somebody who has to work for everything, and just touch on like you brought up the schedule and how demanding every single day is for, and the aspect like say if someone's listening, right, and they don't know nothing about football.
I'm trying to teach them on that.
Yeah.
Got you. So this is where you tap into a whole nother person, right? If it's something that you really want to do, you're gonna lose some sleep and you just gonna grind. So your mindset is either make it or bust. Like you here, no one else is paying for you. This money out your pocket. Is either you're gonna waste your money or you're gonna get every dollar that you earn. So I kind of had to figure out my schedule on top of still trying to have fun in college and still chase your dream. So I kind of, before I got on the team, my whole mental was, I'm gonna work out every day. So we had the student center, which I made sure I used. And then I would have to go to the library to get, because I didn't really have all the money to buy my books. So I kind of had to go either find books online or use some of the books that they had inside the library and just use all my resources. Academic centers came in the key, talking to my guidance counselors and advisors, kind of set me on the right path on what I want to do. On the aspect of being recruited and not being recruited, it's a dog-eat-dog world. So drop of a hat, your coach that actually vibing with you, saying that they might try and get you some money, they could be gone the next day, and now you back to square one. So I kind of went through that, and it's just a process. As long as you keep believing in yourself and you keep showing the work, it's all in time. Like your time will come. If you're patient, it'll be there. But you definitely gotta continue to grind and just have that mental that I'm gonna make it. And I'm like, you still have to believe. Like I told you, I felt like I was gonna be the one for my family to get to the league and to do all of that other things like that. So my dad didn't go to college. My mom did. My mom was a bookworm, you know what I mean? Like straight A's type stuff. So, it's like I wasn't a bookworm. So I mess with her that to this day that she was a bookworm. I think my mom's worst grade probably ever was probably in gym. But, you know what I mean? It was like a C or something like that.
So now going off that too, right? So you say you always felt like you was that. And during the time, in some type of way, which happens, is like they convince you that you're not. Like, you got to work for this. You're not there yet.
Yeah.
Right? So when did you know, going through all that mentally, when did you know, all right, as a player, like on the field or a play you made, or if it was after your senior year, during your senior year, when did you know, like, I'm that? Like, you knew your whole life, but like, when did you solidify it with yourself? Like, yeah, I'm that.
I think it solidified me when it was like a couple times, I'm gonna say. So it was like two moments in my life. I'll probably say it happened like that. So one was my junior year, you get that prospect, that interest list from the NFL. They'll tell you if you got any type of interest or who's interested in you. I had probably one team that kind of showed a little bit of interest, was the Eagles type. So my name was brought up. Don't know how in depth they went on the conversation, but I don't care. My name in the conversation, so that's fine for me. That's all I needed. That told my family, because I had all the naysayers and all the people doubting me, saying that I couldn't amount to nothing. I'm too small to play college football. family, relatives. So, you know, I couldn't wait to boast and say, yo, I got the Eagles looking at me. You said.
And even going off of that, it's like a lot of times, because we used to this life, we used to seeing other people get to it and what we want. So we be so hell bent on getting to where we gotta go. It's like at times we gotta take a step back and be like how many people get the Eagles at least looking at them? You feel me?
Exactly. Yep.
Like how many people? And we downplay it because we got goals. That's all it is. Like we got goals and we got somewhere we gotta be. But it's like sometimes we gotta take a step back and be like, yo, how many people can live this life?
Say that. Exactly. I don't like that you say that because people, like my wife told me now that when I do talk about my journey and my path, and kids like really soak it up and they be in awe, like, oh my God, you had this team, you worked up for that team. But I look at it as like, dang, like I ain't get to where I thought I was gonna get, but this right here kind of, you know, so it's like you said, everybody's journey is different and you never know the mark or the spark that you'll put in somebody just by telling your story. And I think some people kind of don't. I know I don't really talk about it because I don't want to come off as if I'm bragging or if I'm cocky. And because I feel I'm a humble person. I really don't talk too much. I mean, I done played with greats. I done played against great athletes that went to the league, but I don't want to brag and seem like I'm just cocky because I feel like that's what social media kind of turns everything into, where everybody just want to, live a facade life. But like you said, the whole taking a step back is like, dang, that's real. Like, so me even talking to you right now, me thinking about all the stuff that I did and we had this conversation, I'm like, that's crazy because it's 10 kids that I played with in high school that didn't get nowhere near or scratch the surface to how far I went.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like going to college was always a goal. Me being there, my dad convinced me about 5 times to stay. So it's like, you know what I mean? And we just went that route. Having the right support staff, support system is what I would say. Whether it's a grandparent, whether it's an aunt, dad, mom, brother, best friend, foster, whoever, it's always good to have that one person or 2 people that believe in you as much as you believe in yourself.
Because it takes a village. I don't even think on mine, and I understood that till now. Like you always think, like I got it. Nobody believes me, I got it. But it takes a village. And now on the other side of that, because it's not just football, right? Yep. And we obviously pushing for a better life in general. Now, what you get your degree in?
Business management.
Mm-hmm. And would you say like that has a lot to do with like your upbringing and your mom?
So it'll be with my mom. So my parents got separated when I was 4. So it's been me and my mom in the household all the time. Like my dad was there. He always pays homage to my mom, and I always try to tell him the same thing. Like, look, you was there just as much as she. Like whenever we needed you, you was there. So I mean, granted, you weren't living in the same house, but you was still present. You know what I mean? And some people, I can say that they don't have that, and I definitely never really took that for granted like that. But I did business management because I couldn't draw. So I thought I was going to be an architect. I ain't going to hold you. I'm going to be an architect. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to build this, build that. But then when they started breaking it down, I got to draw this, draw that. So I started trying to draw 3D stuff. But, my joint came out basic house, square, triangle, square, rectangle, door, window. Boom, that's it. That's my base. So that kind of made me
think. Not as slow.
Let me rethink that. Like, I can't be building people's stick houses and things like that. So I was always a business mindset person. Like my grandfather worked like a dog. Like he was from the West Indies. He worked 4 jobs. He owned a building. He was a super. He would do construction. He was a brick mason. He was a electric. Like he done did it all, and he never rested until the day that he passed away type stuff. So it's like some stuff like that kind of instilled in me. And all I said was, if we would have just had somebody older than me, already graduated with their business degree like me, we would already have a family business right now.
Yep.
Like my uncle did everything my grandfather did because he was always with him. Me and my cousins was always with my uncle and my grandfather. So we learned all that stuff, but we didn't till now we talk about it and we joke like, damn, we bugging. We could have been already
Could have been there.
5-brother family, and we could have been top tier. You know what I mean? First black business carpenter, whatever you name, we did it. So that took me to college to where like, I like marketing, I like business. I wanted to own my own hotel one day. So that's still in my mental. It's still here. But I wanted to run a hotel. I always said that's probably the easiest money getter because everybody wants to go on vacation. Then I'll map out locations. So I do all of that. So that was probably my main drive why I did business management.
Now, we touched on like being an athlete, right? Working your way up through the ranks, discovering yourself and be like, I am who I am. And like who I always knew I would be. And it's the same thing in the classroom because we're getting our education, right? Now, that ends. No more football in college. I'm still going pro somewhere. Right? My degree is over. What's next? Like, what was that phase for you?
So that phase was, it was like I had to like switch my work ethic up. So if you chasing a dream, now once you graduate, technically your school, your strength coach, they don't have to help you no more. So it kind of went that way for me. It was just me, my roommate. My roommate did a little bit of working out, but more so it was me, my guy Calvin Tolliver, and then my boy Nafis Pickett, who kind of took the whole working out thing to the next level, trying to make it to the next step. So we had to come up with our own workout plans, which was we had to, Google, YouTube, look whatever you could to find your workouts and how to do it. Then when I come home, because that's at Delaware, I had the facilities. You graduate, ain't no more access to that unless you live in that state. So me living in Connecticut, I had to leave. So when I came home, my cousin Martin Manson was also another who was chasing a dream. So me and him kind of piggybacked off each other when it came to workouts. So if he was working out somewhere, I'll go try and get some workouts in with him, or vice versa. So you had to map your time out. You know what I mean? So it could get costly. You fresh out of college, you really don't have no job, but you just gotta keep telling yourself that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Because there's times when you're gonna be doing stuff and it's just not going your favor. You go to workout after workout, trial after trial, and it kind of teeters away. Then you got people in your ear talking about, well, you got to get this money, you got to do that money. So I kind of was lucky, still was able to stay with my mom in that whole process.
Now that takes like twice as much effort, right? Doing it yourself, because coming from being an athlete, we have a set schedule all day, every day, right? You know when you got to eat, even outside of football itself, when you got to eat, what time around you got to do your homework, what time you got to get to sleep. Like we have a base schedule. So once you get out of it, you don't have that schedule, and it takes twice as much effort to keep that same platform and keep that same organization, right? So would you say your degree in business helped you really be on that aspect of businessman? And in terms of being a planner, like people talk about financial planners and things like that, like you feel like your degree helped you in football, because football is really a big part of life, because it's not just a sport. It really teaches you everything about life. And I think that's the part people miss. Do you feel like your degree? I just got a notification. We have 10 minutes. I'm gonna send you another one because we said that.
I got you. So the degree definitely helps put things in order. So that whole syllabus week and that whole you mapping out your schedule, that kind of helped me kind of do that, to where I had to, put your priorities together. Like, I still wanted to do all the fun stuff. I'm outside, I'm doing this, I'm doing that with my friends and everything like that. But I still made time for what I wanted to make time for. And I think that's what people got to realize. When everybody, it's not enough time in a day to do anything, but you got 24 hours. You could do multiple things. Well, I only sleep 4 hours, then the other 20 I'm grinding. Because if you got to think that it's not just you chasing the same dream. It's still somebody out there doing it. Just like as me and you talking right now, it's somebody out here working out right now, to where they getting their grind in. So you just always got to think like that. When you sleep, I'm working, and you just go for there.
Now, you're still in the phase of trying out, right? You said trials are falling through.
Yep.
You working now.
Yep.
and you're trying to find your way. And this life, like football can only go on for so long before life hits, right?
Yep.
So when did you decide, because now you're coaching, right? When did you
Yep.
decide to touch the other side of football and the other side of life and be like, all right, this is gonna be my focus for now, because we still got a lifelong journey. Right?
Yep.
When did you touch that focus? Like, damn, this is what I'm prideful in. And I see somebody else that is along the same path, and I already been here. Like, when did you figure out, like, damn, this might be what I want to do?
It all went, I think, me thinking about stuff outside of football or doing my next phase of not trying out was when I did my last workout in Baltimore at the Ravens Stadium, where I met with refs and a bunch of people that came and spoke before the trial started, and said is more to it than just making it to the league. If you love the game so much, there's other phases to the game that you could be a part of and still be close to it. So I'm sitting there thinking like what is he talking about? Like, that doesn't really make too much sense to me. It's either I'm playing or that's it. What else can we? And then you think about it, he said referees in the game. You ain't playing, but you playing at the same time. You're dead center of the game. You have coaches, then you have box office people, you got the owners, the G, all. So it's so many different levels and phases. So I kind of tapped into that once I did my last little workout. And I was like, I just have to be near the game some way, shape, or form. But it's a mental thing that people got to realize that you got to kind of overcome. At one point, I kind of thought like I let my family down because I didn't make it to the NFL. Because I always said I was the one, like I said earlier in the conversation. I always believed that I was going to be the one to change our financial issues, no matter who, from my aunts, uncles, cousins. I was going to be the dude to get us out of here. Like, we're going to live a different life like we see.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of took a big toll on me, like a little bit still now to this day, but I done found coaching. So now my mental kind of came back to, oh, I'm still going to be him, and I still could do this for the family. So I kind of got into coaching. I started with the little kids, Pop Warner. I was coaching the Hartford Wildcats. My uncle he started the organization, so he kind of was like, yo, come coach, y'all, you and your cousin. I did that, and I instantly fell in love with coaching. So they 8 years old. These kids is raw. Like, I'm teaching them the fundamentals, and we just going from there, and then we just climbed. I did that for about 5 years, and then I jumped right into high school. Because Jason Manson got a head coaching job here at Capital Prep the school I work at. And he was like, man, I'm looking for a DB coach. What you think about coming to high school? I was like, yeah, bet, I'll come do that. I'll chime in, let me do both. So I kind of was teetering on both. I was coaching high school and I was still helping out.
Right?
Yep, and I'm still in the school system now. So, and once I touched that, and then just talking with kids, and then listen to them say that they don't want to go to college. It's nothing but, because I work in the inner city, so it's like, it's the hood. So all they know is this. Had multiple kids tell me I'm never gonna amount to nothing anyway, so I'm just coming to school because I gotta come to school. It's warm, whatever, I'm getting a meal, whatever, things like that. And then me talk to them, explain them that they can do it. And you could see, once you see that change in kids where they start in one spot and then you just see that whole turn, it kind of gives you a whole different feeling inside. I done sent multiple kids that told me that they wasn't gonna go to school, they never gonna get out the hood to school. So it turned into a bigger thing for me versus just football. Now it turned into, I'm gonna change this kid's life, because I didn't have nobody telling me I can go to college and play football. I can go to college and do this. So I'm kind of giving them what I didn't have.
And now you're in the college game, right?
Now I done, yep.
So little by little, you working your way up in the ranks, which it could be a goal, it could not, because coaching is coaching, and you make an impact on so many kids' lives. Now I think a lot of people don't understand, outside of sports, you meet so many people along the way that changes your journey. But you find yourself in the same spot that you was in while you was playing, though. And where you low key, like you're underdog, you have somewhere you want to be.
Yep.
You can help somebody in some type of way, and you want to stay around football, which is like your goal, but you're working your way up slowly, little by little by little by little, right? So what I'll say, we'll start here, and we got 3 minutes on this one. So once you got into college, and now you meet new people and new players, a different type of body frame. Like before, we talked about high school where you can show them like you have hope to get somewhere in life. Now these kids are somewhere. Like, I guess, what's your goal while you're in college for somebody who's already in a good phase of their life? So like you got more, like we need more out of you. You got more in the tank. So like what do you like about the college game? I guess is what it comes down to.
So the difference from high school to college is I don't gotta beg nobody to come to practice. That's point blank. So high school, you dealing with a kid like, I want to be here, I don't want to be here. And you begging them and forcing them to do stuff. College, you getting a different breed of kid. So you getting that kid that made it here and he's cool with that. You getting a kid that made it here, he wants more. And you getting that kid that made it here and you can tell this is all or nothing for that kid. And you can tell that all three gonna give you the same work, but each of them gonna work a percentage harder than the other one. And it's just a mindset and the terminology, how hard you could be on the kid. They could take it a little bit more. I don't got to worry about a parent coming to talk to me like, oh, you got my kid doing X, Y, Z. Everybody understand this ain't Pop Warner. Everybody don't gotta play. Same mandatory that's not what it's about. The best person will play. I think it's dope that I get to work with kids that's on a different athletic type of style on our bodies versus I don't got to develop as much. Now I'm fine tuning and tweaking and teaching them to believe in their abilities more than what they already believe in themselves already. So I kind of believe in them and all the players more than I feel more than they believe in themselves. And I try to get them on that same level as me. And it's not just about football. And I think that's what some coaches don't, I ain't make a couple people mad, but it is what it is. Some coaches don't realize it's not just football. I take time to get to know the player as a person. I'll sit there, I'll talk to them about life in general. It ain't always got to be football talk. I'll talk to them about, oh, what you doing in school? Where you from? We'll talk a little bit. Like I said, I learn something every day about the players that I coach. You know what I mean? You, prime example. I learned so much from you just from the year I knew you. I kind of knew you before you knew me.
I knew you.
So it's like, so it's kind of, and that's a dope feeling when you could kind of like click, and then you start to see that relationship form, and then now you see that, oh, he ain't that much different from me. He's not just a coach, he's trying to make this a bond. So once you get that bond, I think you'll get the most out of a player no matter what, versus a coach that's just coaching you versus me having that bond. I think I'll get 10 times the outcome or the work or the success because I took the time to get to know you.
So we're gonna stop here, right?
Yeah.
Send another one, and we probably got, let's say 15, however long it takes, because I want you. It's your story too, right?
Cool. That's straight. Yeah, just let me know. I'm on you.
Yep. So I'm sending it right now, and we're gonna keep going.
All right.
All right. So piggybacking off what we was talking about. So you was talking about college and getting more out of people and understanding, and even from an athlete and like my end, like we build a relationship, no matter how far it is, how long it is. But a part that gets missed too out of the way is like you have such an impact that, like how you said, like you knew me, but you have such an impact that people know you. Like, so like I would see you on Twitter and I would see people just mention your name as a coach, like, yo, Strums. I think you seen me and
Dean.
Yeah, me and Dean was talking about who's crazy on the sideline. You a bit, but stuff like that's your legacy, right?
Yeah.
Like you work so hard and in a different way instead of going league. It's like you're making an impact on so many people's life. This is a whole nother generation. Like people in your class that you graduated in college, whatever, that legacy stops after college.
Right.
But your name keep going, right? So, and basically why we're here too, and I might actually want to share this. I mean, it's up to you, but
Cool. Either one, I'm fine with that.
like throughout this, it's part of your, like we said, it's part of your story. And I feel like a lot of people should know more about your story and who you are. Because I always say to whoever I'm talking to, my brother and everything, it's like your life is your interview,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes people don't take the time to understand who somebody is and how much they bring to the table and really value their worth unless they share it. So
Yeah.
I feel like you have some stuff in here that could really benefit somebody, not even just you, can benefit
Right.
somebody.
Yeah, it could benefit anybody. Like you said, I'm cool with the whole share. Like you said, man, but people don't understand what you go through, and they sometimes feel like they're alone in situations, and then they don't realize that the person next to them definitely going through the same thing. Me, like you said, coming up was just it was just a little different. Like I played high school, my whole defensive line went to the league, so you kind of know that's hard. That's hard on you. Like for somebody that wanted to chase the same dream, the three people that you grew up with, you was right hand mans with, for them to go to the NFL, and I didn't. I was, you know what I mean? I wasn't a hater. I wasn't bitter. I never was. When my boy Chris got his scholarship to Penn State, I was front and center. Like, I'm going to Penn State. That's the type of person I am.
Yeah.
My guy Terrence, once he got the scholarship to Temple and all of that, same thing. And then same thing with Demick when he went to Boston College. So it's like, I always still live through them. Like, and I would tell people all the time. And I wasn't one to go, oh, people like, yo, them your boys. Did you go to this? You go do that? And they'll tell you themselves if you ask them. I never asked them for anything because that was never me. When they came home, I treated them just like as if we were still growing up.
Yep.
I didn't do the whole starstruck thing. And I think that they appreciated that. It ain't just me, it was my boy John Man also. Still probably one of the best corners I played with ever. Man coverage, this that he just ain't get the shot that everybody else got. And I tell him that to this day. But me and him kind of was the same. We'll treat him as if we were still outside on the playground. Or what up, fat boy? Or what up, this? We'll do. I mean, it's just the same old. So watching that kind of made me try and grind a little harder. So I didn't really touch on my whole little journey after coming out of college, which was, since you in this process, I can definitely explain it to you. Senior year, you get a pro day, right? What I learned was, which most people from out of state don't know, you are entitled to one pro day in your state. That's just how it goes. Yeah. Me in Delaware, I get one there and I get one at home. So I did two. First one, trash. I mean, won't even lie. Ran a 4.6 or 4.7. Like, it was probably the worst 40 I probably ran in my life. But that's me just not working as hard as I should have. And then God said, look, you didn't earn what you earned. I mean, and then I came home, did one at Yale, which, you know, people kind of still always want to debate my 5.10.5, but got a couple witnesses that was there. I ran a 3.75 and a 5.10.5. That was my fastest.
Which whoever don't know, that's
you know what I mean?
Look at Bob Sanders is a Hall of Famer, and like,
you know what I mean? So that was my fastest, and they clocked it. But then my 40, if you run a 3.75, for those who don't know, if you run a 3.75 in the shoulder, your 40 should be 4.3, 4.2, somewhere around there. Ran another 4.6. I'm out here still running slow as dirt. So, yeah, I mean, so that's a little discouraging.
It's an art. You know, it's an art that is hard.
You got to master it. I had an agent at the time during that. I had 5 teams that was interested. Was Jets, Chiefs, Raiders, 49ers, Bears. The year I came out was, to me, I always say, is always about timing. The year of the safeties. It wasn't nothing I could do. It was the Eric Berrys, the Taylor Mays, people of that caliber. I'm not saying I couldn't play with them, but
they are who they are.
They are who they are. They know the school they have behind them versus the school I have behind me, name-wise. It's still a political world in the NFL, which everybody still has to understand. But, you know, I didn't hear nothing. My agent kind of took a vacation with crazy. And then draft was over. So now, you know, you hit that thing, I ain't make it, what I'm gonna do now? So my boy started talking to another person who kind of pushed him to arena football. So I'm like, bet, I mean, football, professional. I'm gonna take what I can, and then I'm gonna just work to the next step. So I kind of jumped into the arena game. I did 3 years of that, and that's another thing. It's almost like you on your own for your grind. Only thing that's set in stone is the practice time, which was at when I was in Erie. Practice was at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. We using the gym, practicing. So I did that, and in the midst of all that, I earned workouts in between there. So I worked out for the CFL. I worked out for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Calgary Stampede, and then the Argonauts was probably once, or Saskatchewan. I'm sorry. That was probably the 3 I did. And even within there, that was learning football all over again, because now it's a different type of football. But I only say that to say this: there's so many leagues and things out there that you can do to still climb your ladder. So CFL route, Martin Manson, my cousin, he made it there. Then he had you get workouts from there. My favorite team was the Dolphins. Cameron Wake was probably one of the top tier D linemen in the league. He'll be a Hall of Famer sooner or later. Came from the CFL. So it's journeys traveled is on you. Your road is going to be different. Yep. You just got to stick with it.
Yep. Nah, obviously I'm on the same path, right? And going through the same everything. It's like we said, it's like you relate to somebody you don't even, I mean, we know, but it's like to what extent? And It's like, so for me, obviously going through tryouts, combines, just finding a way. When, and this is a part of why we're here, part of the project, when did you realize, for me, like, all right, maybe this kid got something that I can take out of him as a coach, as a former player, not even just a coach, a former player, because I went along this process and I know at least some of something that he don't know, and I can help him. So when did you realize, like, damn, like this kid, he has something?
I think my thing with you was a sponge. You were a sponge. You took coaching well. You wanted to be held at a higher standard than anyone else that you was around. And you could take the constructive criticism. So what's hard for people to do is when you acclimated to one coach for so long, their technique is just embedded in you. The fact that when we talked that one day at that day camp, and I showed you that one little thing with the whole man technique and how I would do it this way, and then what Manson would show me that, and how they both coexisted and they kind of formed into one thing to make it even better than what it was, is rare, because some people get stuck in their ways. Like, well, my coach showed me this. My coach showed me that. So that's typically what kind of showed me that you definitely are a different type of person. And then just the following that you have and the impact that you still have on the team. And before I got there, you could just tell leaders lead. People still call you my captain. That's just what it is. Nothing against the ones that we got now. You just my captain. That's just how you set the standard. The standard is the standard. I'm gonna live and die by that. So you the standard. I tell people all the time, this is how it went. You just did everything you could to be better today than you was yesterday. Your drive is what carried you. Let alone the story that you share. You don't even have to do all that. You let people into, you gave them a different feel of you. And I think that's what this generation kind of doesn't have, is when you show emotion, people take it as weakness, where it's not. That's strength at the end of the day, because you're strong enough to show somebody that you do have weakness somewhere.
Yeah, and that's a part of the process. And a big thing from where I come from, how I grew up, is we always get taught too, and this goes into the emotional side and to just how we grew up and going through the process, is you get told not to cry. You get told, right, suck it up. And which ain't a bad thing. Like, that's how we
Right.
grew up. But like you said, a part of this generation is a lot of things. If you see it, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. There's no masking it. Like, what you see is what you get. And sometimes
Right.
it's a facade. Sometimes it's brought to a whole different level, sympathy, whatever.
Yeah.
I think a part of my process was there's a lot that people don't know.
Exactly.
And there's a lot that people won't know. Because one, I don't owe them that. They don't owe me that. And I feel like down the line, there's a bigger story.
Right.
And when it all comes together, someone will be like,
That's
oh,
why.
I get it. That's why. Right.
I definitely.
Even me coming along now is like, I have to stay around football because I have a goal. Like, people don't know that. Like, why? They probably like, why is he always around? I have a different goal in mind. And in terms of like, from your end too, is like, even coaching up people, I have a different goal in mind that I don't have to talk about now. But down the line, people are gonna see it. And it goes back to how we grow up, the stuff we go through along the way to get where we at, our career, football, and our transgression through life after football.
Yeah.
So throughout this whole thing, right, what would you say is your biggest life lesson learned during the transition from college to your life now? And what do you think the biggest transgression will be from your life now to where you want to be, or where you know you could be?
The transition from college to now, I think I wish I had the same work ethic I got right now. I feel like I'm grinding a lot more now. In all phases, like with the weight room and like I take it serious now. Like when I was in school, I did it. I did enough. Like I don't think I did enough. Like I did enough to be in shape, fit to play football, not to get hurt in the college level, be able to handle myself for 4 quarters, for 11 games. And I think that's what kind of hit me different. Where now I'm on it. Like if I don't work out, I feel like my day ruined. Like if I don't do something that's around football, I feel like my day was wasted. Which ideally is not, you know what I mean? But my mental right now is just saying, dang, I'm still trying to get to another phase. So just like I'm chasing the league, or I was chasing the bag to go to college, but I'm still in the same situation. This where I'm at right now, I'm at Division II. No knock on Division II. Some great players that came from Division II, with great coaches in Division II. But I don't want that to be my say all be all. I got aspirations. I want to be a head coach one day. As of now, I'm not ready. But like I said, how do you know if you're ready or you're not unless you win it?
So let's say this, right? You want to be a head coach where? Like
me, I want to be me personally. Head coach FBS level.
Okay.
Everybody, if I do get to the NFL, that's cool. But me in the college level, I feel I have more of an impact where I can tutor and get these kids the right situations to go to be successful in football and as men and whatever they get a degree in. Right? So NFL, it's NFL. The guys get there, there ain't too much you doing. You tweaking, but now it's just we hear the game plan. Yeah. It ain't me really putting nothing into. I can make you a better player, yes, make you grind harder, yes, but how much am I really doing?
They have families, they
already setting their way to what they're gonna do. And that's what the issue is now. When you look at it, I'm looking at cats hold out for some bread. Like, cool, yes, you gotta get your livelihood. But I'm a guy that was like, oh, you press because you ain't get that, bro. Give me league minimum and I'm playing. Like, I didn't get to play. So give me league minimum. Yo, I'm here. What you want me to do? I'm going to kick off, whatever. Like, I'm going to come get it. Let me come. But you got to and then where I want to be, like I said, be a head coach. I keep telling myself every day, like I always speak stuff into existence. I'm going to win me a national championship one day. Whether it's D coordinator, head coach, I'll probably get all three. I want to be a head coach and get one. D coordinator get one, position coach get one. I want it from there. I want some All-Americans, all-conference players, and of course, I want cats to go to the league. And then just go from there. And I just want people to be successful. You know what I mean? Make sure I teach them how to manage their money when they get to the NFL. Like, get there, don't just go buy the car and the house. Bro, go buy a 3-family apartment. Get yourself some equity, get some assets, you know what I mean? Do all that. So you got generational wealth is what everybody needs to start working towards.
And I think a lot of times, a lot of people don't know. They think they know, like everybody says they want, especially coming from where we come from.
Yep.
Everybody want to change their family life. Everybody want to, it's like, you got to work.
Got to work.
A lot of people miss that. You have to work. Like, you have to make sacrifices. You have to put some things to the side because it ain't going to happen itself. It's hard. And throughout this whole thing, I think what I took from you, just playing for the 1 year, right? Because I pay attention to everything. Like I said, I know you beforehand, and I don't even know if you know this. I don't even know how it came out or how you ended up getting hired, but along the process, I think I did tell you that. Because Manson left, Martin Manson left. And, you know, we talking about coaches and stuff like that. I don't have too much pull, but I have some say. And I'm like, look, if it ain't Manson, or if it ain't somebody who around Manson, because I know, because we all come from the same thing. Yeah. And I'm not here to get babied. I'm not here to, and I've been, it's like how you say, like you was plotting on the spot. Like, they taking their days off. It's like, I see what's on Twitter. I know. So I was like, nah, it has to be somebody around Manson. And I think Manson told me he recommended you and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah. And that has nothing to do with the decision, but in terms of like me knowing your legacy before, it's like, this guy, And we met each other that one day, and I was like, he gonna get the most out of me. And I think probably the first thing I told you was, I was like, look, I ain't here to get baby. I'm not here to, like, tell me like it is. Tell me like it is. That's all I asked for, is tell me like it is. And I think the biggest thing I learned during the season and during my time with you is like through the conversation, because like you say, you get to know a player. Yeah. You don't get to know a roster spot, a position. You don't get to know that. You get to know the player and who you are as a person. And through our conversations, it's like, you're a real dude. It's like, what you see is what you get. And that's the thing a lot of people miss is like sometimes if you got to question somebody, it's like, all right. Yeah. But what you see every day from Jerome Strums, what I took, it was like, you know what you're getting. If I mess up, he gonna get on me, but I know where he coming from. And then we're gonna kick back. He might be like, yo, you tripping, but we're gonna talk about something. Yeah. And we're gonna laugh after about something else. It's like, so I feel like the biggest part I learned throughout my journey is somebody else was along this journey. Somebody else been through something. Somebody else is working towards something and he's trying to help me. And if I'm not wise enough or I'm too immature to take what he's giving me and he has some wisdom and he has some knowledge behind his back, then shame on me. So, and I feel like personally, I was like, if someone has, which I would say has so much effect on the team in terms of energy, and even I say, if you make a play, right, and a player goes to you, get that man the key. Because somewhere in that, this coach is who the players attract to. So I think at the end of the day, you deserve your flowers, right? And I think
appreciate that, man. Definitely appreciate that. Like you said, man, I just gotta be me, man. That's one thing that, like I told you, I talked to a bunch of coaches. Some of my friends as head coaches, and I always ask, you know, me, if I'm wilding, I definitely call them like, yo, am I tripping? But I feel energy is what we need in this game. Energy and life in general is what you gotta have. And I keep the same energy, win, lose, or draw. You gotta find a way to tap in with whoever you around. Like I said, I still feel like I'm young enough to still know how y'all move and do whatever y'all doing. So I use that as a niche to get in. You know what I mean? And like you said, you saw me when I first came in on the staff. That first time I introduced myself. One, I'm like I always say, I'm one of the few that get on the staff because there's a lot of alumni. And then it's like, I just made it known who I was going to be. They said, who you are? I said, man, I'm Jerome Strums, Delaware State. I'm coaching corners. I said, yo, receivers, just keep it a buck with y'all. Whatever y'all used to, that's over with. So it's like, and I think that right there that was my icebreaker for the whole team. Like the corners and everybody, y'all knew me already. But that right there kind of showed offensive side of the ball because not too many people mingle on both sides. So, you know, everybody don't get that. It's still it's separated. You got offense, you got defense. Everybody don't typically learn everybody, which a good staff, you do learn everybody, which I can say about our staff at Southern. Everybody know everybody's name, whether you know them in depth or not. You definitely know each player by name. You could call them out, this and that. Whether you had a different conversation with them, that's on the coaches. But in general, our staff alone, I feel we definitely are close as a staff, and we're close enough to we know people on offense and on defense. You go some places that it's not like that. You got some offensive coaches that don't know nobody on defense, and they only know the names just because it's on the board. But I could easily say we don't have that really like that up at Southern. But like you said, man, this is dope. Life after football is, to me, it's really never no real life after football. If you want to stay close to the game, it's you in the game. You in it for life. I told you since I was 8. I ain't left it since, and I don't plan on it. So no matter whatever phase it is, if God want to bless me with enough money where I could be an owner, so I'm an owner. So, and I'm really in depth. But
I think that's perfect. Like unless you want to share something else, like that's perfect. Like
feel me, be in the game. Keep, like I'll tell everybody that's in your shoes, block out the outside noise. Enough. If you hear enough people telling you that you're not gonna make it, it'll make you second guess yourself. And that's what you don't want. You never did before. I'm gonna tell you, don't do it now. And that's for anybody that's chasing the same dream as you. The grind is the grind. Be patient. Believe in yourself that the time gonna come when you need it. And just when you out there, just remember your why, man, and then take it and go with it.
so all right, I'm gonna end the recording now.